Hello friends, Pastor Clark here. Welcome to Outreach Stories, a new channel that we are starting, as the name implies, to share some outreach stories. The purpose of these very short videos is to provide some real life examples of what it means to bless your neighbor, connect with your neighbor, as you just go about your everyday. The stories will be kept short. I will share some, but I'm going to invite others to share as well. And so this video can also be kind of an example for you to follow. The goal is just to share a brief story of something that happened, and maybe a lesson or two, if you want, of something that you learned from what happened to you. So here, let me give an example. So a couple of weeks ago, I was out walking my dog, and I came close to another one of my neighbors that was out walking their dog, not an immediate neighbor, but kind of up and around the corner. And I was in a hurry to get to the next thing that I needed to do, and I wasn't sure how our dogs would interact. So I was going to sort of veer around and keep going, to be honest. But my neighbor said, "Hey, is your dog social?" And I said, "Yeah, most of the time." And so we decided to let our dogs kind of greet each other, and then in that we were greeting each other, and I learned a lot about him. I learned about his time in the service in different places all around the country and also all around the world. I talked a little bit about my dad's time of service in the Air Force up at the North Pole, and we just talked about got talking about church things, and he mentioned that he goes to an Assemblies of God, or no, pardon me, an apostolic church, and we were just talking about some of the similarities and differences with the Lutheran Church, and it was really interesting to hear him say that he very much appreciated more structure and old-timey kinds of, or more traditional, I suppose you would say, types of hymns, which surprised me. That was, my perception of a more Pentecostal church like the Apostolic Church is that it's a little less about the order or kind of the liturgical nature of things in the way that we talk about it. But in fact, that seemed to be something that was appealing to him, as I also shared a bit about our Lutheran liturgy and how we do things. So this was a really great and interesting connection that we made. Two things I would underscore from it, if I had one point to draw out, it would be how much this shows the truth of some of the things that Greg Finke gets at in his little book, Joining Jesus on His Mission. One of the things he talks about in there is how the simple act of just getting outside and being available to your neighbors. We all can live a life that's pretty much siloed into me and my tasks and what I'm doing. But if you get out and you are present in your neighborhood, you will have these chance encounters, but also slowing down to take the time to turn outward and engage. And I had to laugh at myself in the midst of this ongoing effort of outreach that we're making, that my antenna were not quite up as they should have been at first. I was going to be the one that sort of went on about my business. But really, the other thing there too, we stopped and had a good conversation, but it was like 7 minutes. It wasn't like this occupied me forever or really deflected me from what I needed to do with the rest of my day. And the second point, if I was going to draw one out, is just that blessing of building those connections and that kind of mutual friendship. In this case, I didn't discover somebody that was without a church home and therefore needed a church home, but I did discover a fellow brother in Christ and got to talk a little bit about our walk with the Lord and our churches, and learned some new things about another tradition that I had maybe perceived a little bit differently. So even on the level just of connection between two human beings, two human creatures, but also two brothers in Christ, my day and I think his day was enhanced by that connection. So that's kind of the thing we're going for, just looking for those opportunities to bless others, but also, as you heard in my story, to receive that blessing ourselves. So that is your outreach story for today.